What if Deku had the commandments? Part 1. Now, Deku is only going to have 5 of the commandments, which his 5 commandments are going to be faith, love, pacifism, pity, and truth. Faith is people who has faithlessness have their eyes set ablaze in flames. Love, meaning anybody who holds hatred will not be able to hurt again. Pacifism, anyone who kills will rapidly age and have their own time stolen away and quickly aging and die. Now, pity, anyone who shows their back to the wielder will become an obedient slave. And truth, anyone who lies or goes back on their word will be petrified into stone. Now, a lot of you guys wanted just love, but I'm going to basically have 5 commandment combo here. All 10 would pretty much be overpowered, and I'm looking on the fandom of this, and half the commandments have unknown powers. So yeah. Now, Deku was a happy child. He always loved playing with his friends and going to the store to buy action figures with his mom. Now, one day, both Izuku and Bakugo promise to be both the number 1 heroes and not hurt an innocent soul. However, the next day, Bakugo does just that. He goes and starts hurting a little girl. Now, I want you guys to vote, should this be a harem or focus on mainly one girl? Now, this girl, I'm going to go off and say Momo. Momo is getting chastised and bullied because Bakugo, I'm not sure what chastised mean, that might be bad, but Bakugo is bullying her because her quirk hasn't showed up yet. Neither has Deku, but Deku's supposedly Bakugo's friend. Now, since Bakugo went back on his word, he ends up starting to turn into petrified stone as he went back on his word to never hurt an innocent soul in the presence of Izuku. As he's turning to stone, Izuku walks up to Bakugo and he's like, could this be my quirk? As Izuku goes up and picks up Bakugo and he's like, I'm also strong. What could this possibly be? If you guys want Izuku to have a sin or have demon or goddess powers, please tell me in the comments below. But Deku ends up running back to his house and telling his mom as they go to the quirk doctor. Surprised by this sudden visit, nevertheless, they test him for a quirk. Somehow the doctor comes back and says, Inko, your son's quirkless. I don't know what you mean by he turned somebody into stone because they went back on their word. Now, this obviously shocked them, but Izuku was just happy that he had some type of power. I mean, it may not be a quirk, but he still had a power. They go back to the park to see Mitsuki looking at the petrified Bakugo, wondering what is she going to do. So Mizuki is trying to figure out what she's going to do with this 4-year-old stone Bakugo. Inko and Izuku get there, and Mitsuki's like, oh, Inko, Izuku has the quirk that made Bakugo turn into this, right? Does that mean he can fix it? Inko just rubs the back of his head at her head, as she's like, oh, sorry, Mitsuki, I don't think he can control it. Izuku walks up to Bakugo and puts his hands both on the stones as he's like, just imagine Bakugo not being stone. As he does this, Bakugo starts to slowly untransform from stone as Izuku suddenly realizes something, and this is his power. It's not a quirk, but his power. He runs up to his mom and says, Mom, I have the power of the commandments. She's like, the power of the commandments? What? As Izuku starts to explain, I have 5 of the 10 commandments. Truth, pacifism, love, faith, and pity. These commandments give me my powers. So I think when Bakugo went back on his word, he turns into stone. So that means if somebody lies to me, then they turn into stone. I can be the greatest hero just like All Might, right, Mom? So Inko just looks down at Izuku. She's like, yup, you can be the greatest hero just like All Might, Izuku. As they start to walk back home, Bakugo yelling at Izuku if that was his quirk, as Bakugo, all he could do was watch, hopelessly trying to scream, kind of like sleep paralysis, where all you can do is look around as things start to distort with a nightmare, basically. Now, the next day, everyone got word of Izuku's power, and they all wanted to be friends with him. This happened to him very fast, and he's like, yeah, I can't believe, yeah, this is awesome. As Bakugo starts to feel extreme hate towards Izuku, all the people who used to all the people who used to be friends with him are now going to Izuku, who is much more confident than he used to be. This Izuku now has a quirk that everyone wants. Like, they all see him as this cool god in power. And no, he's not going to become a mini Bakugo from the canon. I don't need a Izuku turning into that. Now, after class, Izuku and his friends have to leave with Izuku walking home. Bakugo tries to ambush him and says, "You stupid Izuku! Those were all my friends before you took them!" As he charges in at Izuku and punches him square in the face. But Izuku just looks at him and he's like, "Wait, Bakugo, was that supposed to hurt? You messing with me?" Bakugo looks down at his fist and he's like, as he starts punching Izuku even more, only for him not to be able to hurt him. Izuku just keeps looking as he's like, "Why isn't this hurt? Why does it... Wait, this is the commandment of love. Anybody who holds hatred won't be able to hurt anybody else." Bakugo, please stop doing stupid things to make my commandments activate. They activate without my control for I'm in the presence of something stupid like this. So I suggest you stop doing that. As Suki says this, he turns off the commandment of love, allowing for Bakugo to hurt him, but Izuku just starts to walk away, not caring, which just fuels Bakugo's flame of hatred for him, but he knows he has to stop that hatred in order to survive, basically. He doesn't want to be stuck as stone for 30 minutes again. That was pure hell to him. Now, let's time skip 10 years. Izuku is now 14, maybe even 15. He's going to school with everyone is still his friend. He's the popular kid, but he's the popular kid and not snobby. He's a popular, nice kid. Now, Izuku kind of likes all the attention, but again, doesn't really. It's Izuku we're talking about. He's not that social anxiety type person anymore. He still has those friends, as he had the social experience that he didn't have in canon, where now he has friends, so he doesn't stutter. He's so much more confident, with Bakugo still having a strong core and his fiery attitude, but it's less than in canon. Bakugo is envious of Izuku. Izuku has all this cool powers and is praised for it, while Bakugo has an even cooler power to him and absolutely gets nothing. Now, Izuku ended up training during these 10 years. Time skip. He trained every single day, before and after school. This is how much determination Izuku had to be a hero. He has people believing in him now. He doesn't have his mom saying, "I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry." He has somebody believing in him, somebody who knows he can be a hero. Now, after this day of school, when Izuku's walking home, His friends had to leave, supposedly, because their parents needed them to go to the grocery store. Izuku ends up taking the long way home today as he's kind of sad that he couldn't walk home with his friends. Now, during this, the sludge villain pops out of the sewer drain as he's like, good, a nice and strong meat shield. As he charges right at Izuku, and this is just where Izuku just looks up at him and he's like, oh shoot, none of my commandments can do anything to him. He didn't lie to me. He didn't show me pity. He hasn't killed anybody. Doesn't even hate me. Doesn't have. No. As Izuku gets entrapped inside the sludge villain, not knowing what he can do, stands or pops out of the sewer drain as he's like, fear not, for am here, and I have come to save you, as he powers up a Detroit Smash, and Detroit smashes that sludge villain. Izuku's obviously very excited as he's like, whoa, oh my, I didn't know you here. Could I please have your autograph? Izuku's still a fanboy, but he's not as much of a fanboy as he is in canon. He doesn't idolize heroes as much now that he pretty much has Quirk, and he doesn't have to always think heroes are so cool when he knows there are fakes out there and he doesn't think it's all a goody two-shoes society. Now, Izuku ends up asking if somebody with a quirk like his could be a hero, something that isn't an emitter and just works by itself but is still powerful. All Might says yes, but it would require a lot of time and technique, so I suggest you train if you want to be a hero. And if you're going to get into UA High, you might meet me, as he jumps away. Izuku's kind of happy that his idol or his favorite hero just told him he could be a hero. If not the number one, he could still save people. Now, when he's walking back to his house, he sees an explosion. He runs over there as he sees the sludge villain with Bakugo. He's like, no, I must save him. As Izuku starts running straight in to battle, as the sludge villain's like, oh, so you've come to save your little friend. No matter, you'll just give me another meat shield. Izuku winds back his fist as he throws a super-powered punch right at the sludge villain. No, I'm not giving him a super-powered quirk. I'm just saying he's very, very strong. I'd say his punches are probably at a level of 20% of All Might's. Remember, these commandments basically boost his strengths too. Not sure if that's what happens in Seven Deadly Sins, but I'm making it happen in this What If. I'm not very knowledgeable. Now, after he absolutely destroys the sludge villain, as the weather starts to change, as everyone just starts walking up to him and trying to ask him questions like, whoa, how'd you do that? Did you How'd you do that? You're so cool, as the heroes try and scold him, but Izuku just starts walking home, not caring. Now, this is the point I need you guys to decide. Should Izuku get one for all? Now, when he's walking home, All Might jumps down and he's like, young man, I remember your question asking if you could be a hero. I said yes, but I'm here to give you an opportunity of a lifetime. Would you like to take my quirk and become the successor of One for All? As All Might starts to explain how he got injured fighting All for One. And this ended up having a backwards effect on him, as he ended up having only a little amount of time each day using his quirk. So, Izuku says, you'll have to give me time, I'm not really sure. But if you want to to train me, I guess that could work, as All Might takes Izuku to Daegoba Beach. As he says, you have 10 months to finish this cleaning up this beach, and I want you to come here every day at 5 a.m. and every night or after school at 3:30 p.m. Now, the following morning, Izuku runs up there to see All Might not there, so he just starts to pile up the trash and start cleaning it. Now, once All Might arrives, he looks up and he's like, "Whoa, you already cleaned 1/10 of the beach under 30 minutes. I'd say you could probably end up finishing this in about a week." As Izuku ends up coming there after school and almost finishes 3/10 of it. He ends up doing this for a couple more days until the beach is entirely finished. Izuku is now, I'd say, a lot stronger than he used to be, and his commandments are also pretty considerably better, as they have a farther range when he's in their presence. This basically allows him to have better, like, control over them, but not really. Now, time skip to the UA entrance exam. Izuku is still thinking about One for All, but he somehow managed to train a lot more, and now I'd say he could probably handle 40% of All Might's power right now. Now, once he gets into UA, Bakugo tries to trip him, but he doesn't. As Izuku's falling, he gets stopped by Ochako Uraraka saying, "Sorry for using my quirk on you. Um, hey, what's your quirk?" "My quirk's anti-gravity. If I touch anything with all 5 of my fingertips, they float. If I put all 5 of my fingertips together and say release, they release." As soon as she said release, Izuku falls and hits his head on the ground, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Suzuka just looks up to her and says, "Hey, it's okay. We all make mistakes." As he gets up and says, "Oh, I'm Izuku Midori and I'm quirkless, but I strangely have a power called the Commandments. Basically the 10 Commandments, but only half of them. It's kind of sad because I feel like I'm only at half power." As he says this, they start to walk into the UA building as President Mike starts to explain what they will be doing over these next hours. He says that first they're going to take the lesson or actual written exam. They end up doing that as they come back to the auditorium, and he says they're going to be doing the practical exam now. There are 3 robots that give you points. The first one's the 1-pointer, the simplest to take down. The second pointer, the middle-ish robot to take down. And the third pointer, the hardest robot to take down. That's when Ida raises his hand and says, "President Mike, sir, I'm afraid there's 4 robots here. If this is a mistake from UA High, I am severely disappointed. And you, now I overheard you were quirkless and you're still here, so I suggest you leave so you don't die." As Izuku stands up and glares at him, as he's like, "Are you pitying me?" Ida turns around as Izuku says, "Alright, go slap President Mike." As Ida walks up and complete backhands President Mike. So everyone's like, "What? He just backhanded a hero?" Zuku's just like, "I just released you from my hold. You gave me pity, so I got full control over you. And for that, you slapped President Mike. Now I suggest you say sorry before he goes ahead and slaps you back." As Ida turns around to see President Mike halfway about to slap him, until President Mike puts his hand up as he's like, "Oh, come on, bro, give me a high five." As Ida just strangely just gives him a high five. Now, after this strange event, they walk out as Izuku lines up, getting ready. Now, keep in mind, the commandments aren't going to help him fight, so he's going to have to use his brute strength. Remember, 40% of One for All he could handle up to, and if he had One for All, he'd probably be around like 75% he could control. He charges in as soon as President Mike yells, "Go!" I mean, pretty much that. As soon as the doors open, he charges in and starts destroying robots, with President Mike yelling at everybody to go, that life doesn't wait for you. You shouldn't be waiting. As Izuku destroys robot after robot, not caring what type of points they are, as he ends up racking up over 200 points. That's around 30 minutes later, and when everybody seems to have a okay amount of points, he hears a big thump as he turns around and sees Ochako Uraraka yelling for people to help, as the zero pointer narrows in straight onto her, as Izuku starts running up to it, as he jumps as high as he can without going over the robot, as he puts his hand back, as he throws it forward, smashing into the robot, sending it flying away into outer space. As everyone's shocked at the pure brute strength Izuku just showed, as he fell down and landed perfectly, as Uraka thanks him as he starts to walk back home, waiting for the UA letter to arrive. So that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy What If Deku Had the Commandments Part 1. See ya, guys. Bye.